The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary News Talk.
You're listening to CanaryCry News Talk. Today is October 5th, 2020, episode 251. Is that correct?
That's
I think
correct.
We're 252 now. No?
Nope, 251.
Okay. All right, 251. And today, hybrid Algo-Reptile. And you know me, I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we love Jesus, we love you, and we try to love ourselves, and we try to love our enemies, even though it's hard. And at least I'm on a normal timeline, according to Basil. He is in December and on episode 252.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track when you're zipping around the time-space continuum like I just can't stop doing. But we're back, and speaking of the time-space continuum, today we know that Trump is going to be released from his prison hospital at 6:30, and I was thinking to myself, Gonz, oh no, that'll be after the show. But he's probably talking about 6:30 Eastern, right?
Yeah, which is pretty soon. I mean, it's about an hour from now.
He'll be released during the show. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. See if any new fun news comes from his being released back into the wild like a captured and tagged mountain lion.
Yeah, what if he walks out and he's all transhuman, you know? He's got his robot legs or something.
He's getting his Neuralink chip implanted.
I like how in politics right now, "he's back" is trending.
Is it really?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's I don't know who's back. Yeah, I guess it's Trump.
Yeah.
White House physician Dr. Sean Conley on President Trump's condition. He's back.
I thought
was
it
he ever
funny.
gone, really?
I thought it was funny. I was reading some articles about this, and of course, the mainstream, they were making a huge deal about, he gets his special wing in Walter Reed Hospital where they have a dining room and blah, blah, blah. And regular American people who have COVID don't get that special treatment. Yeah, no kidding. He's the president of the United States. Like, how is this a surprise to you? I don't understand.
Know. Yeah, well, they would probably be saying the exact opposite with someone like Obama, you know? Why isn't Obama getting the best care we have in this country? Send him to Canada. They have better health care.
Canada. Oh, that's a good one, Gonz.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any fun special news on your side of the multiverse there?
Nope. Just continuing the countdown to baby.
Continuing. The countdown continues.
Yeah.
Well, Gonz, I'm dealing with my own. I hear when you have a baby, there's so many messes and just parental catastrophes that just sort of become a part of life. Mm-hmm. Changing diapers and stuff like that. And I feel you. Right before the show today, I spilled an entire litter box on the floor of my bedroom. So I get you, man. I get you.
Hopefully your cats don't have the rona.
Hopefully. That's not even funny, Gonzo. No, they wear their cute little kitty masks when they go to the store. Oh,
I do have something to tell you, though. I just published a video. It was a short video on one of the stories that we'll cover today on the YouTube channel. And I mentioned how, some people don't like Basil or whatever. And the comments, overwhelming love for Basil.
Oh, really?
Lots of love for Basil. So
that's
I think,
good news.
One of my favorite ones was, he's grown on me, not like a fungus. So I think you'll take that.
Well, I'll take it. It has been a marked shift in the the polls, the Basil polls.
I think we shook out the haters.
Yes, they're starting to get thrown off. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Where was that? YouTube?
Yep, YouTube on my channel, believe it or not.
Yeah, on Face Like This. Wow, some actual coming to my defense on the Face Like the Sun channel. Thank you, I love you. And to the rest of the haters, you'll get used to me. Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's the flippening. I'm going to start hating you. I'm going to become the biggest Basil hater. I'll be like, man.
The flippening.
Can't deal with it right now, Basil.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, well, what do you say we get into the show here?
Let's do it, and we're going to start with a Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okie dokie. Continuing with the awakening, the flippening that's been going on in the mainstream media. Of course, it sounds like they're finally starting to heed my call for, man, how long have we been doing news talk? We've been doing CanaryCryRadio since 2012. Did we start in 2016?
I think it's 16 when we started News Talk.
Oh my gosh, it's almost been 5 years. So it's finally happening. This is on Nerdist.com. The article is titled "Adorable Dinosaur Robots Serve Perfect Ice Cream Cones." Okay. And of course, okay, wait for it. Mankind has been worried about a Skynet future for decades, but robots haven't replaced humans just yet. And in the meantime, there are a lot of ways machines make our lives easier. That's certainly what some new adorable robots in Japan are doing. These fun contraptions are delivering perfect soft-serve ice cream cones. And how bad can robots be if it's a dinosaur serving us ice cream? That's right. Moving on. Japanese company Connected Robotics is changing the ice cream service game forever with their soft cream robots. They probably could have made up a better name. Soft cream robots. In just 32 seconds, the Ritakun robot serves up Sofuto Korimu, aka soft cream, which we know as soft serve ice cream. All the customer has to do is put in their order on a tablet or kiosk. On this initial model of the machine, you can order vanilla, chocolate, or a swirl mix. Then the robot, either a cute dinosaur or a dog, kicks into action. A cone or cup drops from the machine into a holder. The robo animal then spins and places it under the ice cream dispenser. Then it slowly rotates to get that classic soft serve layer design. When the order is finished, the robot spins back to the hungry customer for them to grab their sweet treat. The Ritakun is also feature comical voices to entertain as they work, and the dinosaur even exhales fog to let you know he's all finished. Parenthetical here, neither are features we want from a human server, FYI. If you want one for your business and during social distancing, you really might. For an extra fee, the company will work with clients who want to get custom designs. Now, do these robots take us one step closer to a Skynet fate? No, not even a little bit. But we sure hope the robots that do replace us look like this and serve us ice cream before they take over. So there's Nerdist raising the alarm on the Skynet takeover, but in classic mainstream media fashion, giving us the double speak on whether we should fear these ice cream robots or not. I still say yay, Gons.
Yeah, well, this is how they do it. This is how they tame us. They give us ice cream. It's like the creepy man who offers candy to little kids. The same thing, except it's robot dinosaurs.
I know. You'd never take a sweet treat from a robot. That is robot overlord defeating rule number one. I like in the picture, they have a cute little doggy, a pink one, then a cute little blue doggy, and then they have a purple dinosaur, and you'd think that they would go for like a Barney vibe, but no, it's like kind of a hyper-realistic, scary velociraptor.
Yeah.
Just purple.
And for those of you not watching, a robot arm sticks out from under the chin of the T-Rex, I guess, dinosaur. I don't know if it's a T-Rex actually, but it has a cone holder, and then it does a little spin move, or not a spin move, back and forth kind of groovy.
Spin kick.
Flying
spin kick.
To get the cream in the cone. And it's very precise.
I like Anio Nemes in the chat. You scream, I scream, robots scream. We all scream for ice cream. And we're all going to be screaming when the robots take over. That's what I have to say. So here we go. Just another baby step in the direction of making robots friendlier, so we do not resist when the ultimate robot takeover begins.
Yeah, and it's got features like you don't have to get it in a cone. You can get it in a cup. And they can watch you too. They show a little bit of footage of what the robot sees, and it's like, oh, good, they are sentient.
Yes, and of course it's got the AI facial tracking.
Right.
I'm sure there's some recognition. It connects with your contact tracing app, so you can make sure you didn't take an ice cream from a COVID robot.
COVID robot. Yeah, that would be good. All right. Well, only in Japan, of course. Our blueprint for the technocratic New World Order. Yeah. They got the giant Gundam and robot ice cream servers. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on here. We got a few updates and some interesting stories today. Kind of a slower news day today, other than like Trump, COVID, Trump. Everything's Trump, but we'll try to. We got one Trump story, but
yeah, do not fear, dear listener. Today will not all be about Trump. In fact, I'm excited for today's show. It's again kind of a throwback to actually following some real stuff going on that's not just all about COVID and not just all about Trump. Right. So,
but
strap in.
We'll start with a little bit of COVID stuff.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Always have to start with the 33 update. For those of you who are new, 33 is a number we track because we believe it is the elite signaling to each other or something like that.
Elite dog whistle.
Yep. This is
Illuminati dog whistle.
Yep. Fredericksburg.com. Fredericksburg Area Health District reports 33 new COVID-19 cases this weekend. Classic. No, nothing else to really say, but 33 new cases in Fredericksburg. And then a second 33 update, and we kind of missed this, Basil, in the last couple episodes ago. We talked about the scorpion chair, the gaming chair that looks like a giant scorpion that brings the screen over you, over your head. And it's a zero gravity chair. And people were messaging us afterwards, I can't believe you missed it, because we talked about the price of the chair, and it's $3,299, or it's
close.
Basically $3,300. and of course, the scorpion chair.
We were looking for an angle on that chair. We knew there was something fishy about it.
Yeah, so the Kluven's PC cockpit is $3,300 for.
There it is.
So just a quick update on that one. And then here's another. This one is
artificial intelligence.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, so this is on it's MSN.com, but it's another news. It's one of those MSN articles that couches other stories. I don't know exactly what the outlet is. AV Club. Sing along to an AI composed opera about the death of humanity and the coming robot utopia.
Oh, great!
The computers. Not content just to write novels, create music, and start making their own version of Garfield, are now out there composing operas, presumably just after a rogue AI took artist Michael Green hostage by strapping him to his computer chair with USB and HDMI cables. The machines have forced him to work alongside them to create a short musical called Threateningly Enough, Anthropocene, an AI opera.
Anthropocene.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit. It is unbearable. It is so awful. I do. I wish we can. I'll try to translate the lyrics. There's a part in here that says you can create worlds and the nanobots will assemble through the word.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So let
me
say
that again.
Okay, so you can create. It's talking to the AI. You can create worlds, and the nanobots will assemble through the word.
Whoa!
Capital WORD. Okay, so I'm gonna play, and it's the whole thing is just it's pretty. Yes, it's dystopian, but I mean, okay, it's hard to listen to, but we'll give it a shot here. I'll give it a few few seconds here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I've read enough. I can make out a single word.
It's 25 minutes of that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Does it change? Does it like go into other movements, or is it all just sort of
kind of. There's
monotonous droning?
That segment is the longest segment. There's a part of it at the beginning that's a little bit more different, maybe a little more legible or
melodic
audible.
Or something.
It's not melodic. None of it's melodic. But yeah, I mean, it is unbearable. I don't know. I mean, the only people that would enjoy this are other robots. There's no way humans are going to sit here and be like, oh yes, deep insight.
And that's the worrisome part of it, because we've seen other AIs pump out quote unquote artistic works. And it's always judged on like, well, how is this enjoyable to a human? And at the very least, it's humorous. It's at least comical watching an AI try to make a human artistic work. But this is very much not for us. This is obviously for robots and robots alone.
Yeah, and I mean, listen to these lyrics. A vortex of chaos, void of will, agape and rapture.
Whoa.
I mean, they're just like... They're just totally buying into every decision comes from the algorithms and the algorithms alone.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, just come on.
It's all there, folks. It's all there.
This is like
you got to remember, those lyrics are very inspiring to other robots.
I guess we've forgotten.
It's a happy song of unity and power.
We've forgotten that we are God. He is our space-time duality. So, whoa. I mean, yeah, come on, AI. Yeah. What do you...
Great.
Your quantum identification will be determined by the strongest signal detected within the zone.
Within the zone. Well, at least they're not hiding it anymore.
No, they're just out totally telling us what they're up to. Yeah. For thou hast free will and art wise above all gods.
No, is that in the lyrics?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is like, okay, all right, AI.
All right, there we go. Not even trying to hide it anymore.
It's going to start getting, we're going to fight.
That's funny.
I'm not joking. We're going to fight.
I know.
It's because they think we're in a people zoo,
I'm still, if anybody knows where a good supplier of EMP rifles is, I tweeted this out. A lot of people are interested.
Yeah.
Might have to put it on the Basil's Bunker website.
We're going to get stories. Exist. We're going to get stories about how people accidentally shot off an EMP rifle and took out a whole house, all the electronics.
Yeah. Quote unquote accidentally.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
All right. If this wasn't enough, all the AI takeover that we'll get to more of later, they're opening up the curse.
It will kill.
Great.
Yep. Egypt reveals 59 ancient coffins found near Saqqara pyramids, many of which hold mummies.
Ooh,
and
many.
Many.
What's in the other ones?
I don't know.
I'm more worried about a sarcophagus that doesn't have a mummy than the ones that do.
I know. Well, they had to get people to, or I guess mummies to play in some of those old movies, So.
Oh yikes!
Cairo, Egypt's tourism and antiquities minister said on Saturday, archaeologists have unearthed dozens of ancient coffins in a vast necropolis south of Cairo. Khalid El Anani says they said at least 59 sealed sarcophagi with mummies inside. Most of them were found that had been buried in 3 wells more than 2,600 years ago. Mm-hmm. Quote, I consider this is the beginning of a big discovery, El Anani said, adding that there is an unknown number of coffins that have yet to be unearthed in the same area. It goes on here and tells about some of the pyramids and whatnot. Oh, this is the part that I thought was interesting. He said archaeologists also found a total of 28 statuettes of Ptah Soker, the main god of the Saqqara necropolis, and a beautifully carved 35-centimeter bronze statuette of god Nefertum, inlaid with precious metals. Precious stones. The name of its owner, priest Bad Amun, is written on its base. He said, now, we talk about precious stones and being decorated with precious stones. We see that in the Bible many times. We see, Lucifer, Satan, being called in Ezekiel, or I think it's Isaiah, mentioned how he was, or maybe it was Ezekiel. I got to double check that. I think it might be Ezekiel 28, but he's inlaid with the precious stones, and also the abomination of desolation will be enamored with precious stones. So there's a couple biblical references there that is basically an image, these little statuettes. So, just some interesting things to consider there.
There's a connection. There's not a connection.
But also, every creepy movie with mummies starts with people discovering mummies and opening up the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
So
no, this is obviously a bad idea.
Why are they doing why? There's a viral video of them the whole bunch of people surrounding one of the sarcophaguses. They're opening it up. Everyone's taking pictures. Oh, clapping. It's
and then the swarm of scarabs come out and devour everyone's flesh off their bones. I know, I've seen that one.
That's the part where they cut the video off. It's only 20 seconds. But yeah, it's just interesting how what is the protocol? Is it just because we don't know about our history to a T that we're we just dig things up and we go, we'll just open it. Let's figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the basic thing, but I find it weird that they're doing this publicly.
Yeah.
You would think that they would do this in some sort of sterile room, in a museum or a laboratory somewhere. But in this case, there could be as much as 50 people surrounding this sarcophagus. Some are wearing masks, some are not. But yeah, if there was some sort of ancient virus or whatever in there, you'd think you would just assume we should open this in a sterile, safe environment.
Yeah, well, the ancient virus in a a secular perspective. I'm talking more unleashing the demons that were that are hidden in these
people aren't worried much about that.
I guess not. All I'm saying is
it will kill.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. One more quick update here. This one is what is it? It's a pandemic special.
A pandemic special.
And it's kind of a sad story, but I wanted to include it here because I see a lot of people on social media sharing it, especially on the lib lefty type of folk. This is independent.co.uk. Coronavirus super healthy, in quotes, college student dies from rare COVID-19 complications. And this is Chad Dorrill, was in tremendous shape, tall and slender, played basketball, ran long distance. But the 19-year-old college student died on Monday night, apparently, of neurological complications related to COVID-19. And I saw a lot of people sharing, how can Trump say, that the virus is safe, or that, he's safe.
Do not be afraid.
Don't be afraid. When look at this child, this super healthy child has died of the coronavirus. And it's very sad. I'm not trying to glorify his death. I'm just saying it's sad. But it says here in the article, Tanya Maxey, a family friend who taught Chad Dorrill in high school, said doctors told the family that they suspected he had a previously undetected case of
Guillain-Barré.
Oh, is it Guillain-Barré? I'm totally missing it. Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare neurological disorder in which the body's immune system attacks nerves. Many viruses can trigger the syndrome, and there have been cases linked to COVID-19. And so, if there's a precondition of this magnitude, and I mean, it doesn't have to be COVID-19; it could be just like a normal flu or normal anything. So it's for people to say he died of COVID-19.
Well, right. They're calling him super healthy when they suspect that he had Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is very serious. Pre-existing condition. Let me look up Guillain-Barré syndrome real quick.
I had it pulled up.
Do you have it up?
Yeah, it's a disorder of the immune system where the nerves are attacked by immune cells. And it's very rare, fewer than 20,000 cases per year in the U.S., and treatment can manage conditions, but there's no known cure. And what can trigger it? Respiratory infection or the stomach flu can trigger Guillain-Barré syndrome. Something as simple as a respiratory infection or the stomach flu can trigger it. It's a rare disease. Yeah, so, I mean...
I've heard it. Now, I have no official source. This is not evidence. I'm just saying something that I heard. Mm-hmm. I thought I saw Guillain-Barré, and I'm seeing in the chat that there's other ways to pronounce it. That this was one of the suspected vaccine-related diseases. I don't have a source for that. I just remember hearing that in the past year or year or two.
Well, yeah. I mean, either way, it's a precondition if he had it, which is pretty severe. And the other part of it, the article was talking about how the virus attacked his brain, which was unusual, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, point being that, if you have some precondition and you get COVID or anything, it doesn't have to be COVID-19. It could be something else.
Well, it's just, sorry to interrupt, but it's just the same doublespeak we're hearing. They're calling him super healthy, and then they tell you right in there that he had Guillain-Barré, or at least suspected. Saltapal in the chat says they have it. They have Guillain-Barré.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And don't get the ronas. It might come after your brain.
Yeah, I don't know. Spooky.
Yeah. So I wanted to include that just because it's one of those things you can share with normie friends. That if they pull out look at this, it killed a super healthy kid.
Person. Yeah,
it's like, super healthy.
And remember, most of what we do here on the show is just analyze the mainstream media's stuff. This is an easy one to show somebody. You know, you don't even have to be a conspiracy theorist. They're just saying he's super healthy. Oh, except for this super rare weird disease. Yeah, that probably had something to do with it. Which again, very unfortunate, very sad. But there you go. It's right there in black and white.
I think it's more sad that people politicize his death to prove a point against Trump and stuff.
A lot of politicizing the death of children lately.
Yeah, not Bummer. Cool. But anyway, that's the one thing I wanted to mention about COVID. And that's it. That wraps up the quick updates. Are we ready for the
main thing? I found this, and it's kind of an update, but we're going to treat it like a full story here. And there you go. Hit me with those jingles.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So remember back, folks, back to the Neuralink Elon Musk live stream and his happy piggies that had the Neuralink chip installed, and just how happy they were and how in love Elon Musk was with his pigs, Gertrude and Joyce or something. I don't remember the other one's name. But I'm coming from news.yahoo.com. The article is titled, "America's Rapid Feral Hog Problem is Creating a Super Pig Uprising."
Oh, my gosh.
So, of course, we had to bring this to the show, Gons. In
terrifying.
30 years, feral pigs have expanded from 17 states to 39, reaching a population high enough to constitute a feral swine bomb.
Oh, my gosh.
Researchers, I know. It's crazy. Researchers say, we know what you're thinking. Legit question for rural Americans. How do I kill the 30 to 50 feral hogs that run into my yard within 3 to 5 minutes while my small kids play? Yeah, it's called an AR-15 is how you fix that problem. But in August 2019, Willie McNabb and his yard full of feral hogs became an overnight internet sensation. But McNabb's meme led to an increased awareness of the real fact of wild hogs, reported recently by The Atlantic, as something that millions of Americans deal with, and that is a genuine public menace and destructive force. The 2017 film Okja. Did you see Okja?
No.
It was a fun movie. It was definitely a sort of eco-warrior anthem. But the 2017 film Okja posited a Cujo-like super pig, but researchers say that idea is now close to a reality for some groups of feral pigs. That's because most wild pigs in the U.S. are some level of hybrid between domestic pigs and wild boars, creating heterosis or hybrid vigor. I'm just going to open that link for later. Britannica explains. The increase in such characteristics as size, growth rate, fertility, and yield of a hybrid organism over those of its parents. Plant and animal breeders exploit heterosis by mating two different purebred lines that have certain desirable traits. The first generation of offspring generally show, in greater measure, the desired characteristics of both parents. This vigor may decrease, however, if the hybrids are mated together. What results from these naturally occurring hybrids is a generation of wild pigs that can have the protective fur of the wild boar and the carefully bred huge litter size of the domestic pig, for example. McNabb drew attention to Texas in particular, which has the largest wild hog problem. There are an estimated 1.5 million wild hogs in that state alone, with another 500,000 in Florida. States offer almost total freedom for hunters who have all the right licensing for their firearms, of course, and are acting within state gun law otherwise, and some even offer traps. There are similarities between wild hogs and populations of small wild cats in other nations. In both cases, a domesticated population can still have a robust hybrid young with wild species, creating a new group that's especially harmful to farmers. In the U.S., even out-of-control populations of herbivores like wild deer can cause a great deal of destruction, let alone gigantic groups of one of our smartest fellow omnivores. The Atlantic, again, that's what was his name? Steve Jobs' widow's outlet there, says the first generation of pigs that break out of farm enclosures will grow tusks, typically removed by farmers, and start to roam over a 20-mile-plus range if needed. They'll even turn nocturnal if circumstances require it. And, as is often the case, some human error has played a part. Leisure hunters have imported wild pigs for sport hunts. Now, many states offer hotlines where residents can report, 30 to 50 wild hogs in their yard, or any other pig sightings. So there you go, Gon. Some interesting things. This is kind of off the normal path of the stories we talk about. But first, the connection with Elon, I just couldn't pass that up. But, there's also kind of a biblical connection here to, the herd of pigs, Legion. That
was it the Legion? I think it was Legion.
Yeah, Legion came out of the man and was sent into the pigs.
Yeah, Matthew 8.
So now we've got our own Legion in America.
Yeah,
wild pigs taking over, man. And of course, the conversation regarding hybrids about the increased, characteristics of this pig problem is at least when the apocalypse comes, we'll have a lot of pork to hunt in the United States.
Yeah, except they have super tough skin. We're gonna need strong laser beams.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
One of the things that's interesting is that Britannica link about heterosis. I remember. I think Rob Skiba was the guy that talked about this back in the day, before he started exploring the flat Earth stuff. When he was reporting on the Nephilim and doing research there, he was talking about how when two different not necessarily the he was talking about the liger, I think, when you cross breed certain types, certain types of animals, that one of the traits that occurs is gigantism. Like there's no, like the growth rate and all that stuff is crazy because they some of the genetic material to limit the size of it is omitted or bypassed or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's an interesting little factoid that, we talk about hybrids and obviously the chimera connections and the connection to, revelation type conversations. But yeah, the very act of hybridizing creates a bigger version almost no matter what.
Right.
I want to give a shout out to Ebony Blaze in the chat who asks, who had Super Pig Uprising for October for 2020 disaster bingo?
That's what we need. We just need a 2020 disaster bingo. That's a good idea.
It's a little late.
A little
now
late,
is the
yeah.
problem.
Maybe a 2021. I'm not foreseeing things getting too much better in 2021. So
I know.
maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just have a year-long bingo competition.
Yeah.
And come up with
well, and
craziness.
of course, there's the connections with the wild pigs with swine flu, and earlier in 2020, there was they had to kill like 1 billion pigs in China because there was some sort of swine flu going through the pork population and caused pork prices to skyrocket in China. So I don't know, something weird. There's just weird connections there. I don't know exactly.
There was something about pigs that genetically are close to humans and they're going to grow certain organs and stuff in pigs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that they've made a huge deal recently about how smart they are and how they're one of our closest sort of intellectual, I don't know, siblings when it comes to animals on Earth, which is not saying much for human beings, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a story here from Texas Medical Center, bioengineered lungs. How long from pigs to people? So there you go. Some bioengineered lungs from pigs to people. You know, the other thing is, have you ever seen or read Animal Farm by Orwell? Mm-hmm. One of the main guy.
Strap in, everybody. Gons is going to describe Animal Farm to us again.
Well, there's a scene where like the old pig, like the old pig that rallies all the animals to revolt against the humans. You know, he talks about how the humans mistreat the pigs and all the other animals, right? But it's the pig. It's the pig that like leads the uprising.
I know, man.
So I'm just saying, you
gotta
know,
watch out for those little piggies.
They're cute when they're little.
Yeah. I know. I just saw a video of 3 piglets cuddling with a kitten. So cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch out. You know, I've been thinking recently that I want to try my hand at hunting. I'm a millennial, so I'm not like, and I wasn't raised as a hunter, but I really think I need to try it out. I'm not looking forward to, I don't know. I have a little bit of a twinge when I think of killing something big and beautiful, a negative twinge. But you know what? If I'm going to eat cheeseburgers and if I'm going to continue to participate as a meat eater, which I really enjoy doing, I should really have a closer connection with what it's like to harvest something. But I say that to say, I hear that you can pretty much kill as many pigs as you want in Texas. For like for $200, they'll fly you in a helicopter over a bunch of pigs, and they'll just let you go nuts.
Oh wow, yeah. Maybe that's a whole documentary for Canary Cry News Stop.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Hey,
bullets
everybody.
in the air. Or you can learn how to kill rabbits.
I could learn how to do that.
And skin rabbits.
That's a little much. I need something. I need something that I don't want to cuddle with first. Got to start easy.
More protein. You get more protein per pound or something with rabbits than you do with any other animal.
You know, I have heard something about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm good to move on. I think we've squeezed that bacon enough. I don't know.
You squeeze the bacon enough? Is that what you said?
Bacon. That's what hunters do, I think. That's what I've heard.
Oh, excellent. All right. Well, let's move on here. We have a Space Pope Reptilian update.
Space Pope Reptilian.
And it is also a New World Order update here.
A New World Order can emerge.
And again, one of the things that we do here on this show is that we look at mainstream news outlets and we help people see that a lot of the quote-unquote conspiracy topics are published in plain sight through mainstream media. This one's NPR.org. Pope Francis laments failures of market capitalism in blueprint for post-COVID world.
Great.
Yeah, wonderful. Remember, Pope Francis is a known socialist. So it says here, Pope Francis has presented his blueprint for a post-COVID-19 world, covering a vast number of issues from fraternity and income inequality to immigration and social injustice. The document, released Sunday, is his third encyclical, the most authoritative form of papal teaching. Its title is Fratelli Tutti, probably pronouncing that wrong, and it is a scathing description of laissez-faire capitalism and a meditation on the coronavirus pandemic that has swept across the globe. Pope Francis began writing the document earlier this year with the aim of focusing on irreligious dialogue following the landmark joint statement he signed in February 2019 in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, with Sheikh Ahmed El Tayeb, the Grand Imam of Egypt's Al-Azhar Mosque, and one of the highest authorities of Sunni Islam. And let me take a break right there, because one of the things back in, I think it was 2011, might have been 2012, very early on, one of the prophecy conferences I went to, and I met Dr. Future, and we're hanging out, and he was going on and on and on about Chrislam. And some of the people there were making fun of him, like, when is Christianity and Islam ever going to come together with this Chrislam nonsense?
Right.
And, sorry, Dr. Future, you were totally right. Like 9 years later, it was percolating back then too, but much more open with the Catholic Church and the Islamic movements coming together there. But as Francis writes, the pandemic, quote, unexpectedly erupted, and his focus widened, and the document became a treatise on the lessons that must be learned from a global health crisis. Once the pandemic passes, the Pope writes, quote, our worst response would be to plunge even more deeply into feverish consumerism and new forms of egotistic self-preservation. I don't know, man. Aren't we already in kind of a self-preservation mode in this pandemic?
I mean, he's not necessarily wrong with society as a whole. We are sort of obsessed with those types of things.
Sure, with consumerism, I understand. Yeah, like needless consumerism. I can see that. Well,
the question is, how does socialism fix that?
Yeah,
it doesn't really. There's current socialist countries who are just as consumerist or materialist as the United States is. It's kind of a straw man to pin that directly on capitalism. But okay,
it's just government issued products.
Yeah.
Picking up on some of his favorite themes, Francis says the marketplace cannot resolve every problem, and he denounces what he describes as, quote, this dogma of neoliberal faith that, quote, resorts to the magic theories of spillover or trickle. A good economic policy, he says, creates jobs. It doesn't eliminate them. The document echoes the Pope's focus on the need to welcome migrants and provide for the poor and disabled. Quote, every brother or sister in need, when abandoned or ignored by the society in which I live, become an existential foreigner, even though born in the same country. They may be citizens with full rights, yet they are treated like foreigners in their own country. Racism is a virus that quickly mutates and, instead of disappearing, goes into hiding and lurks in waiting. Colorful language there. The encyclical is a sharp critique of nationalism and populism. In one section, he warns against, quote, unhealthy populism, where individuals are able to exploit politically a people's culture under whatever ideological banner for their own personal advantage or continuing grip on power. Which, from what I've seen with populism, it hasn't been that. It's been more of a preservation type of movement.
Right.
Like, hey, we're trying to preserve our culture.
Right.
The different people are coming into our country. And, so anyway, at another point in the document, he denounces the divisiveness caused by social media, lamenting that, quote, social aggression has found unparalleled room for expansion through computers and mobile devices. He continues, quote, this has now given free rein to ideologies, things that until a few years ago would not be said by anyone without risking the loss of universal respect can now be said with impunity and in the crudest of terms, even by some political figures. At another point in the encyclical, Francis turns to the Catholic Church's own doctrine on war, rejecting it as a means of legitimate defense. Quote, it is very difficult nowadays to invoke the rational criteria elaborated in earlier centuries to speak of the possibility of a just war. Never again war. Ahead of its release, the title Fratelli Tutti which translates to brothers all in English, sparked controversy in the English-speaking world, with some Catholics saying it is not sufficiently gender inclusive. The Vatican stressed that in Italian, fratelli refers to both brothers and sisters. Okay, great. So, yeah, wonderful. So there's the Pope with his lament, the failures of capitalism. And, one of the things we talk about is the New World Order, this takeover with the papacy and the Catholic Church very much as part of it. Very similar to the robot dinosaur handing you a ice cream cone, thinking that it's
baby
cool.
Steps.
Yeah, it's a similar type of thing, only at the religious level. But as an adjacent story to this, I wanted to bring you this story from CatholicPhilly.com. Papal letter highlights need for fraternity to counter war, Cardinal says. So this is the cardinal or a cardinal responding or commenting on the document. Vatican City, Pope Francis's social encyclical sees the need for human fraternity as more than just an abstract concept, but as a concrete path towards peaceful existence in a world fraught by war, said Cardinal Pietro Parolin. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but it says, in his address, Cardinal Parolin said that in today's international climate, there is, quote, an obvious contradiction between the common good and the tendency to give priority to the interests of states, even individual states. Okay? And then goes on, and it says, there's a quote from him. Quote, I hope that this encyclical, together with the document on human fraternity, shall be a strong deterrent against falsehood in all its forms and expressions, and that it can be the basis, or the most important factor, for the birth of a new world order.
Yay, there it is.
That relies on the sacredness of dignity and human rights, as the Pope said, not on contempt, slavery, and exploitation of man, he said, which is the biggest ironic statement ever. Yeah. Because who has exploited more humans than the papacy there?
Right,
but,
exactly.
Yep, there you go. In plain language, birth of a new world order. Not even hiding it.
Just for a little bit of background for everybody, this Pope Francis, is from Argentina. He's a Jesuit, grew up in Argentina. Argentina has a long history of socialism, so it's not surprising that he brought this influence over to the Vatican, although the Vatican has had its own its own dalliances with socialism. But this specifically is a flavor that Pope Francis brings from his upbringing in Argentina. Not to be mistaken with Venezuela, which is currently in a big socialist emergency caused by its experiment with socialism. Argentina has its own problems with socialism, but not quite the level of Venezuela. However, the current vice president is a member of the Socialist Party of Argentina. And so it's a big movement there down in Argentina. And some interesting things to point out related to this, but also related to a lot of other things. This term populism has been very interesting to watch how the conversation around populism has been evolving, especially over the Trump administration. It's usually lumped in with nationalism, populism, evil stuff like that, when you hear about it. They talk about Trump as a populist politician. Just so everybody knows, the definition of populism is a political philosophy supporting the rights and power of the people in their struggle against the privileged elite. So, yeah, okay. It's talked about as a bad thing, but it's because people don't actually know what it is. They don't actually look it up. Populism is a political movement that empowers everyday citizens against elites. And so, of course, the mainstream has to make that evil because we can't have any sort of uprising against the elites. And then nationalism, just keep in mind, is just the preference of your nation over the interests of other nations, which this has now become an evil word as well, especially now that the The Pope condemns it. And so, yes, nationalism, preferring your nation over another, or populism, a political movement to empower the common man versus the elites, are both evil when it comes to the papacy's plan for the New World Order, which is based in socialism, which is simply just a product of his upbringing in Argentina. So there you go. And he's the first Jesuit ever to be Pope, which is a good thing to remember. So anyways, there's just some details to add into the conversation there.
Maybe he wants populism. He's like,
very good, Guns.
Yeah, I know.
Very good.
I need to get some more sleep. All right.
All right. Well, you ready for the next story?
Yes. This one is what are we doing? What jingle would suffice?
I'll let you figure it out while I give an introduction. We talked about hybrid pigs. We talked about the Pope and Space Pope Reptilian. We've talked about all these sorts of things, and I thought it would be nice to tie it all into this Vice article. And Gons, have you made a decision on Jingles?
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
We will launch a new age.
Yes, good choice. Perfectly done. This is from Vice.com. Now, keep in mind, part of what we like to do on this show is to keep an eye on how quote-unquote conspiracy theorists or fringy type people are being portrayed in the media. And so I'm coming from Vice, and they've brought us lots of excellent articles showing their hand regarding conspiracy theorists. But here we go. This article is titled Fringe Conspiracy Theorists. Okay, you're going to love this. Fringe conspiracy theorists think Trump is an immortal alien.
What?
Got COVID as cover to shapeshift.
Aliens.
Whoa, that is
yes.
like all the things.
It's all the things, Gons. So here we go. This is how fringy people are being portrayed by Vice. Quote, Earthlings prepare to be attacked, tweeted Richard Van Steenberg in response to the recent news that Donald Trump contracted COVID-19. Steenberg, like many others who believe nefarious aliens are visiting our planet, is concerned that Trump's recent illness is a sign of the coming alien apocalypse.
Oh.
Yeah, QAnon is not the only movement getting worked up over Trump's coronavirus diagnosis. Conspiracy theorists on the extreme fringe also suspect that Trump, who they believe might be an immortal alien, might have contracted coronavirus in an attempt to shed his mortal flesh and shapeshift into something else.
What in the world, Vice? Hold on. I'm going to click on this link. You
the
keep going there.
Hard-hitting news from Vice. All right, I'll keep going while you do that. Steenberg started an online petition 3 years ago called Disclose Humanoid Extraterrestrials Living Among Us. His website highlights the bulk of his theories, and with nearly 30,000 Twitter followers and over 10,000 signatures on his petition, Steenberg is confident he knows the truth. He is a purveyor of bizarre conspiracies that are largely divorced from anything happening in the observable universe. While he has a following among conspiracy theorists, his beliefs are fringe, even for that space. You can say that again. Quote, if you take the time to understand the possibility of ET being able to exist in humanoid form, parenthetical, humanoid ET, you would realize that they can live among us, and we will just think they are EA, Earthlings. Steenberg wrote in an email. Steenberg asserts that there are countless alien-human hybrids who coexist with humans on Earth, and that many hold established positions of power, such as being celebrities or corporate CEOs. He believes that these extraterrestrials are engaged in a plan to subvert humanity and take control via psychological manipulation. Trump, according to Steenberg, is most likely in on the plan. Quote, the plan has been in action since they put us on the planet as cavemen, he said. Quote, I would say Trump is either a HET, human alien hybrid, or CEA, a human complicit in the alien plot, in that he has known what is going on certainly for the better part of his public life on Earth and would have known early early on, he would be president, Steenberg explained. Quote, if he's an HET, human-alien hybrid, it's very probable he existed before Earth and took part in the design of the ETA, the plot to invade. Wow, a lot of
He's
acronyms.
Coming up with his own language.
He's got his own, yeah.
I'll mention this. He mentions Earthlings. He calls them EA. Right?
Mm-hmm,
and the way they have Earthlings typed here, the EA is capitalized in Earthlings.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, Ea, is the god of water, also known as Sumerian Enki in the Mesopotamian deity list. So, okay, humans are... All right, anyway.
Yeah,
just
going on.
Yeah.
Steenberg explained that he believes that human-alien hybrids don't really die, but are able to morph to look like whatever they want and not age. Well, that hasn't really worked for Donald Trump then. The news that Donald Trump has COVID is just a distraction, as all world events are, to keep humans focused on smaller issues and not the extraterrestrials. Again, there's no evidence to back up any of this. No way, Vice. You weren't able to find any evidence of this? Quote, so Trump getting COVID follows the same pattern, Steenberg said. Humans will focus on the confusion surrounding the infection and how it will affect the upcoming debates and elections, spending its time worrying about Trump and Biden. Humanity will not think philosophically about aliens and how they reside on Earth. Sherry Schreiner, an Ohio-based conspiracy theorist, internet radio show host. You can just say podcast. You don't have to say internet radio show, but okay. And self-proclaimed daughter of God. Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a really, I didn't expect to see her name on this, but yeah, she's a old name in the crazy, well, not crazy, I would say, the conspiracy Bible prophecy circles.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her work as being something people were saying, check it out, but also be careful because kind of culty, some of the stuff she says, but
right. When they say daughter of God, do they mean specifically like the general Christian idea that we are sons and daughters of God, or is this like a cult, not occult, but a cult related thing, like the children of God?
Yeah, she might have her own sort of type of Christianity. I don't remember, to be honest with you. Somebody in the chat might remember, but yeah, I remember.
Let's see if they tell us anything here.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Internet radio show host and self-proclaimed daughter of God, ran a successful religious movement on Facebook and YouTube in the mid to late 2000s until she died in 2018.
Oh, I didn't know she passed away.
I didn't know either. Her doctrine, a mix of fundamentalist Christianity and UFO religion, proclaimed that Satan had contracted evil reptilian aliens to take over the world. Using their advanced technology and their powers of psychological manipulation, shape-shifting, and cloning, the vast majority of celebrities and world leaders were reptilian aliens in disguise. Spaceboat reptilian. Mm-hmm. Schreiner's cult made headlines in 2012 when one of her followers killed themselves, and again in 2017 when another one of her followers shot her boyfriend in the head at point-blank range. Yikers. Okay, according to her books...
Yeah. I'm sorry, but there's no... What, they did that because of her?
Shock
or
factor.
Just... Yeah, I don't know.
Just a shock factor smearing there. Yeah. Again, I barely know who this lady is. No reason to defend her, but that was some very specific use of shock factor and language in her paragraph there. Yeah. According to her books and various social media posts, Schreiner explained that she was chosen by God to save humanity from the evil aliens and Satan, their commander-in-chief. A handful of her followers have picked up Schreiner's ministry and have continued to spread the word. According to posts on Facebook, Trump contracted COVID-19 because he is actually under the command of Satan, citing the fact that he contracted the virus 33 days prior to the election. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And linking to other oddball prophecies found in the Nicolas Cage film Snake Eyes. It all boils down to the number 666 and that Trump has been marked by Satan. Have you seen Snake Eyes? I don't think I've ever seen it.
No. Sounds like
it's got Nick Cage, so you know it's good.
Yeah.
Continuing on, while these are extremely bizarre conspiracies with no basis in fact, they exist in a news ecosystem, social media environment, and political environment where the truth often doesn't matter and where, quote, the truth can be very difficult to discern. People like Schreiner and her followers, Steenberg and his followers exist alongside Republican operatives who suggest that Trump getting coronavirus is some sort of assassination plot, either from the left or from China. Meanwhile, state-led disinfo campaign are likely continuing, though we don't know if they're having as much success as they had in 2016. Why is it talking about state-led? Are they saying that the state is engaged in disinfo regarding Trump getting it from China or from the left? I mean, it wouldn't be out of this question. You do have the Smith Modernization Act.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was referencing, but I doubt that's what they're referencing.
That's a pretty big buy-in for. It's being its own conspiracy theory,
right? For
Vice to be, spreading that. Yeah. In an article where they're trying to debunk conspiracy theories.
Right.
All right. Stephen Hassan, an expert on cult psychology and the author of The Cult of Trump, explained that bizarre beliefs, even ones about shape-shifting aliens trying to invade Earth, all serve to muddle the truth. Quote, these cults and religious movements can often be linked to psychological operations, Hassan explained over the telephone. Many people who fall into the UFO subculture are primed to believe other conspiracy theories, QAnon included. Dr. Stephen Greer, there's Stephen Greer again. Dr. Stephen Greer, a popular UFO pundit whose films appear on Netflix, has appeared several times on the Russian state-sponsored news channel RT to talk about his method of alien contact and UFOs. In February of 2019, Greer told RT's Sophie Shevardnadze that 3 of his colleagues were assassinated by the CIA for attempting to disclose the truth behind a government-run UFO cover-up. Moreover, in the 1950s, the U.S. government did instruct American intelligence agencies to monitor UFO groups for dissident behavior. A collection of people who are already predisposed to believe in something with little evidence, such as aliens on Earth, and already hold a distrust in the government and other established institutions, seem to be a prime target for easy manipulation. Gons, again, I ask, where is our CIA check? Because sounds like we should be getting paid by the government for this.
Yeah, seriously.
These new movements, which exist primarily on the internet, all seem to challenge the basic foundations of democracy. Okay, here we go.
Does it really? Wow.
The basic foundations of democracy are being rattled by lizard people. The media and government is corrupted by an evil force, and only free-thinking followers can save it, predominantly via some sort of revolution or massive societal shift. Quote, President Trump is a symptom of a problem that we have been dealing with for decades now, Hassan concluded. Quote, it seems easy to write off people with strange or kooky beliefs, but we shouldn't, because that is dangerous. Yeah, don't write us off just because we are kooky. Well, there you go, Gons. That's... all of the Vice articles about conspiracy theorists or conspiracy theories, they always pick the most extreme, like wacky people. There is yet, and this is unsurprising, obviously, they have yet to do a piece on, moderate sort of what is the word I'm looking for?
Maybe skeptics of...
Yeah, skeptics are just reasonable, reasonable side of conspiracy theories. It's always about the craziest, out of this world, almost literally, theories.
Yeah, I always find it interesting that they start off with, the headline is attention grabbing, and then they pick on one guy. And then they have to go to someone that's not even around anymore, to make a point.
Right.
And it's always kind of, I don't know. It doesn't really, people that it's almost like a confirmation bias article where it's like people that already believe that no conspiracy theories are true, that any of this thinking is all nonsense. It just confirms their bias with language, not even like evidence, just language, the way they write.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if you just pick out the obvious rhetorical tools, they've got, straw men, they've got confirmation bias on the, the sort of brainwashed side, and you have appeal to authority, but in this case, it's appeal to, the most extreme conspiracy theorist authority, giving the impression that that's what all conspiracy theorists, think.
The mention of Dr. Stephen Greer is an interesting one too, because he's someone that, even as a UFO enthusiast, and, a lot of people are like, yeah, this guy's kind of shilly. This guy kind of just sells his own, like,
he's kind of a known shill.
Yeah. And had got caught spending money on some less than wholesome things and stuff like that. But I find it interesting that, of course, they couch his whole thing as appearing on Russian state-sponsored news channel RT. Like, oh, see, all the people, the Russian bot people, they're all the same. They all,
right. You got to tie it into the Russians.
Yeah, it's just weird.
You
man.
have conspiracy, the most extreme conspiracy theorists got to tie them in with the Russians, and then you got to tie it in, obviously, with Trump and challenging the basic foundations of democracy. This is a really well put together piece when you consider the mission of Vice, which is to, toe the establishment line, while being kind of edgy, talking about conspiracy theorists and stuff. And of course, Orange Man bad.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Vice, you are
state-sponsored propaganda machinery.
Yeah. So that's fun. So when you, that's how you look, people. That's how we all look. I'm sure that's how this show is viewed. But of course, we do like talking about aliens. And of course, we do talk about the space pope reptilian. So
yeah,
watch out, Guns. We're dangerous.
We're dangerous to democracy.
The foundations of democracy.
Only lizard people would say that any questioning about lizard people is a danger to democracy.
Yeah, Vice, that is what lizard people would say.
Colin, you prove you're not lizard people, Vice.
Prove it,
Prove
Vice.
it. All right.
Okay, very good. Well, I think we should take a little break. What do you say?
Let's do it.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're just going to take a really quick break, but don't go anywhere. After the break, we've got some mind control news we need to talk about. We've got NASA recruiting alien hunters, kids planning your career path. And then we've got some, a Nephilim update that is a little bit more than the usual Nephilim update recently. So stick around for that. You're not going to want to miss those stories. But real quick, we're going to take a quick break and thank, first of all, some of our Twitch followers. Gons, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, again, another short list here. Let's start out with Snafu0311. Thank you very much for the follow. Anti-robot combatant.
All right.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'll have to talk with you, anti-robot combatant. We've got Rotogan. Mott's 1962. We got Miso Misty Robotics. Oh, good. Miso Robotics are finally following us. This one, how do I do this? Rainian, hold on. Rainiamei. Thank you very much for the follow.
All right.
Rainiamei. Thank you very much for everybody who follows us on Twitch. It's a great place to follow us. Turn on notifications. Even if you follow the YouTube and the Facebook and other places, we recommend you follow on multiple platforms so you never miss a show. And remember to subscribe to the podcast version on your podcast player. Much better sound quality, and just in case of any dropouts or anything, that's the best way to catch the show after the live show. Excuse me. Show burps are coming back. Okay, next, I want to thank some producers, Gons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those who don't know, we are on the value for value model. And what does that mean? If you're new to the show, the value, usually different podcasters, content producers, whatever you want to call them, advertising has sort of taken over the minds of content creators all over the world, which means basically, in simple terms, that people who do a podcast or make a show are incentivized to collect as many listeners as possible and sell them to big corporations like cattle for their own personal gain. And that just didn't seem right to us. The advertising model seems to be the culprit in a lot of the negative social changes regarding the internet and data collection and data selling. And, it also incentivizes producers to toe the party line. They have to be brand friendly. You certainly could not talk about, shape-shifting Trump if I was trying to do an ad for Swiffer WetJet after that, that the advertising model is why Joe Rogan has to come out and do a big apology after stating actual facts on his show. Yes, we all know. And all sorts of things like that. It's just negative. It's just negative, this advertising model. So instead, we go by the value for value model, which was pioneered by the No Agenda Show, Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak. And we're happy to propagate that model as well. And what does that mean? That means we put out a show, we create value, and if you get any value from what we do, we're pretty consistent. We like to think we do a good job. If that brings any value to your life, whether it's the entertainment or the education or the analysis or whatever, just the jingles, who knows? Whatever value you get, you are given the opportunity to put the value back into the show, and the big wheel keeps on turning. And it's the only way we're able to keep doing the show, especially under current circumstances. And so that's why we like to thank our producers. If you give to the show, if you support the show in many different ways, you are a producer of the show. You can put it on your resume, put it on your LinkedIn. You can give them our email, and we will vouch for you. So one of the best ways to do that is at patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And gone since last show, we have one new patron, and that is Ciara. Ciara has been coming in the past few episodes, and now she's all locked in on the Patreon. So thank you very much, producer Ciara. And that is it. Well, you know what? Let me do a quick double check to see if anybody has come in during the show. Reloading the page. Nope, just Ciara. Okay, so there you go. It's been a slow weekend on Patreon. Now, remember, we have patreon.com/CCNT. We also have patreon.com/CanaryCryRadio. And nobody has come in over the weekend on that Patreon. So slow weekend for Patreon. Now, if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. A lot of people don't like Patreon. We support your right to not like Patreon. But if you're looking for another way to support the show financially, you can head over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right. And over there, we got PayPal options. You can come in with a monthly producership, or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership contribution in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of fun ways to support the show there. Gons, who do you have coming in on PayPal?
PayPal, we have a handful of producers for this episode. Andrea coming in as a new recurring producer. Thank you, Andrea.
Producer Andrea.
We also have Jack coming in.
Jack.
$33.33 for Jack.
Oh,
thank you, Jack.
The 33 group there. Thank you very much, Producer Jack.
And, you know what? I might have not deleted some of the names here from last time.
I think this one was new.
Was it? Okay, yes. We do have another one from Bush Protector.
Yeah,
Bush Protector been coming around a lot recently.
Yeah, thank you very much, Producer Bush Protector. And he has he made a donation amount in a significant number, but since it's not one of our outstanding producership levels, I don't want to blow up their spot. Right. So there we go. Yes. But very interesting. People are starting to use all sorts of fun numbers to support the show.
Yes, we also had Isaac come in twice. One is at $7.50. That is the Trump tax.
Yes, Trump tax producer of the show. Thank you, Isaac.
And he also came in at $3.33 to, round out the 33.
The 33 club. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Doubling up, Isaac. Thank you. And during the show, we had Tracy come in with a hybrid donation.
Ooh.
This is $33.75. And she's combining the 33 and the Trump tax 7.5 combo.
Very good. Thank you, Producer Tracy. So the hybrid donation. So technically, $33.75 would be what's that word? Looking for it. Heterosis. What was the word?
I don't remember.
Hold on, I'm scanning right now. I'm looking for the word in our pig article here. Okay. Heterosis, yes. So there we go. We'll call the 33.75 the heterosis, the producership. It's the tax Trump and the 33 heterosis producership.
The other ways you can help produce the show with your treasure is with cryptocurrencies. You can go to CanaryCryRadio.com/crypto to learn a little bit more about that. I did notice somebody in the chat earlier today was mentioning how Celsius Network has been going bananas. I had mentioned Celsius Network a few months ago, and they were very happy that it's gone up a lot in price. So people that got into Celsius this summer are pretty happy today. Yeah. But we also have a knighting to do today. We haven't knighted anyone in a while. Are you ready for this, Basil? I kind of feel rusty. I don't know if we could.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember where we knight people, but we might as well do it now before we get into the art and jingles, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, well, you might as well take out your katana there.
Yeah, my katana.
Okay.
And you got your sword.
I'll get my sword here.
All right, very good.
Very good. Okie dokie. All right, well, thank you. We want to thank everybody for helping produce the show, but especially we want to call up Old Two Box. Please step forward to the Canary Cry round table of knights and dames, where we have a seat for you thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more over the span of the show. We are proud to pronounce you, I don't have his name here. It's Sir Old Two Box, Knight of the Watchman. Yes, that's right. At the Canary Cry round table, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, the breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling, and if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo and CRISPR cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Knights and Dames Round Table, Sir Old Two Box, Knight of the Watchman. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah.
That's right. What are we up? We're up to 7. Is he the 7th knighting?
He is the 7th knight. Yeah.
Ooh, that might be a good part of his name. Old Two Box, 7th Knight of the Watchman.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you for being a producer, Old Two Box. You've been a very generous producer over the years, and especially lately. So you've hit that $1,000 or more donation amount, and we're excited to have you as the 7th night of the Canary Cry Roundtable.
Very good. Thank you to Sir Old Two Box, Knight of the Watchman. And of course, there are other ways to support the show with your producership, with your talents.
That's right. And real quick, I just want to let everybody know, if you are a producer of the show, make sure to keep track of your own accounting. I mean, we can verify it on our side, but if you believe that over the years you have helped produce the show with $1,000 or more, send us an email, and we will make sure to knight you on the show.
Perfect. So we did call for a snail mail jingle. And my worst fears came to pass. Mr. Magoo came in with another snail mail jingle. I was thinking, if there's anyone that's going to do it, it's going to be Mr. Magoo. We can always count on Mr. Magoo coming in with jingles. So this is the snail mail jingle.
Beep, 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 beep. Snail mail. My mail is snail mail. Beep, 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 beep.
There you go.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Magoo. Always coming in with a quick jingle production there.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with some edit that and produce it a little bit. It can be good. I like it.
It's good. I think it's got good bones.
Yeah, good bones. We'll just have to put some meat on it. But there's other ways to support the show with your talents.
One art, please.
And of course, that is with your artwork. And today we have some artwork to present to you all. I really wish I would figure out. I need to know how to say this name. LEK3CT. LEK3CT. I don't know.
Let me look at it written down. Maybe that'll help me. Lekekt?
Lekekt? I don't know.
Lekekt, I think.
Okay. All right.
I'll say that.
Okay, Lekekt. It's not what they probably how they call themselves. But anyway, thank you for the artwork. This is, they labeled it One Art Please, but in this piece of art, they have a couple of watchers behind the firmament there. And it's one of the watchers is sitting on a cloud saying, "Quit messing around, Semyaza." One of the watchers.
Yeah.
And Semyaza says, "Hold up, I'm trying to do a duck." And he's poking at the firmament there, and there are people on the ground looking up, saying, "Look at the spaceships." Kind of a reference to the the quantum realm or the extra dimensions, and how what was it? We've
got the extra biblical references to the Watchers.
Yes.
Semyaza is named in the Book of Enoch, I believe.
Right. But I was trying to think of the flat world. What is it called?
Yeah. Flat world, or the 2D, two-dimensional representation stuff. Josh Peck talks about it a lot.
Right. I think it's a reference to that.
In a multiverse where there are beings who operate on more dimensions, us here in Flatland.
That's what it's called. Yeah, yes. Thank you. There you go. Yeah.
Would decipher those movements as different things, like maybe spaceships.
Right. There you go. So very good art, very loaded with themes that we would be familiar with. So
yeah, I'll say Lekekt has he's operating on a whole nother level.
It's like meta.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. And we also have a couple pieces of art from Jay Vela.
Oh, great.
First one here is, I think it's a General Canary Cry, Think Outside the Cage piece here. It's got his style. I think that baby, I'm thinking that baby is my son coming. I'm hoping. The angel's watching over the baby. You got Basil for Prez.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you got a robot Flippy flipping burgers.
Listening to some music.
Wow. There's some other stuff going on at the bottom. I'm not 100% sure what the references
we've got
are.
looks like we've got some surveillance Flippy going on. There's some sort of superhero there with a what looks to be like a canary cry signal in the sky.
Yeah, like a bat signal, right?
Yes, right. Very cool. Thank you very much, Jay Vela. Always a pleasure to have your art on the show.
And I think this is a zoomed in image of the producers of the show on the top left.
Like this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Think outside the cage and vote Baz 2020.
Vote Baz 2020. Yep. But yes, he also sent a ISO of that image. The top right or top left of the image shows all the producers and
us. Ooh, there we
go.
Yeah,
just
and there's some robots in there. It's like the whole fam.
Yeah. So there was a reference here in the note that he or she, I think it's he, sent. Let me see here. That night wind, old 2-box, objective existence, on his knees, pulling out his hair in repentance, which is a reference to his behavior in the chat, I believe. Fact checker still fact checking. Okay, so that's all the stuff in there. So thank you so much, Jay Vela. A very awesome piece of artwork. Always very. I love the style.
Producer Jay Vela.
Could be its own thing. And last but not least, we have Ali, Gazzle, and Bonds in the chat coming in with Normie Alert, new contact tracing app. It's Basil holding a smartphone, and it says, "You are within 6 feet of a normie."
I like this. Switching it up on the contact tracing. Yeah. I think this is a great idea. We need a contact tracing app for normies.
Normies.
Yeah, and by the way, I was sharing this with you, Basil, before we started the show here. But there is a show, or movie, I guess, a movie called The Garbage Pail Kids Movie. It was released in 1987. So I was a little tiny baby, and I think you were not born yet. But it's okay, because the source, the origin of the normie is from that movie.
Since you won't go back into the pail, you must at least promise me that you will stay with normies.
What are normies?
Normies. They're normal people.
We got to hide from them.
They hate us.
Yeah, they think we're ugly.
So there you go. That's the origin of normie, other than the more modern use of it that you'll find in Urban Dictionary with some interesting and funny examples of the use of normie.
Mature content warning if you look up normies on Urban Dictionary. Well, thank you very much. That was that was Gazzle and Bonds. Who is that?
That's Ali.
Okay, Ali, thank you very much. Youngest known producer, Gazzle and Bonds in the chat, who also got first comment on today's show. So thank you very much, Ali.
Yes, very good. And, I do want to mention this because this is, I guess it's ready to go. The Canary Cry merch perch was created by producer Aaron. And, I'm gonna show us real quick because I'm going to show the website here.
Yeah, let me do some quick catching up for people who might know or who might not know if you're new to the show. So we've done some merch stuff in the past, but the problem is just Gonz and I are so busy focusing on the show and other real life stuff that it hasn't been able to be sustainable. So what we like to do is, this is a Canary Cry family, so we put out the call if anybody out there wanted to do merch for the show. They can just go ahead and do it and keep us posted and, share some of the proceeds with the show, obviously. But, that's a real job. If you want to run it, you got to make some money, too. So this was producer Aaron's been working on it, and they have a working site, I believe, up now. And let's see if I can get it up in front of me here.
I have it here. It's welcome to Canary Cry merch perch.
Yeah, so there we go. We got it there. They will be sharing. Now, it says right on there, 30% of the proceeds will be coming to the show to support the show. we haven't done a lot of negotiating because that's not what we're trying to do. But I will say, if it's going to be 30%, and sorry to do this in public, Aaron, but I think we should just make it 33%, just to
trigger everybody.
Just to trigger everybody. 33% of the proceeds will go to the show. But we've got some fun products up there, Gons. You want to show them?
Yeah, there's a Gons CCNT art T-shirt with my mug on it. I don't know why anybody would want to put my face on a shirt. But
I'm definitely getting one of those.
You got the Canary Cry logo, Canary Cry News Talk logo on a couple things, and my favorites are the masks. You have your Elon Musk mask, or Elon Mask is what it's called.
Yeah,
which is great.
We've got the Daddy Fauci mask,
yeah, which
I'm a huge fan of.
This one, I might have to walk around with this one. This is a mask with Anthony Fauci's face on it. And it says, Daddy Fauci made me wear this. In case you want to trigger some normies.
Wow. Well, there we go. Very good. This is one of your producers, Canary Cry producer, put this thing together. And I don't know if producer Aaron is watching the show right now live, but I will make a request that we make that 33% of all the proceeds come to the show, so you can support the show, get some merch. He has on there too the coming soon section. He's going to be putting together a lot more merch, and I hope with the permission of maybe some of our artists, we can put some art on the merch as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, cool thing to do.
Yeah, so if you've been an artist, send us an email and just let us know if we can put your stuff on merch. And I don't know, it's a developing system here, but like I said, we feel good about just empowering our producers to become a part of the ecosystem. And we've had many great producers start lots of great things surrounding the show, and this is one of them. So we hope this works out, and if anybody's looking for Canary Cry merch, this is a great place to go.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right, you ready, or is there anything else to mention here?
Let me just look through. I think that's good.
Quick thank you to That Night Wind for doing the timestamps for people who want to skip around and find certain stories. So
that's right.
Thank you to That Night Wind.
Yes.
And I think we're ready to get back.
Consistency is appreciated, That Night Wind. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, y'all, wake up.
Okay, let's wake on up here. Gons, you want to start this one?
Yeah, let me start this one. Is a mind control story.
Mind control intensifies.
And this is from ScienceAlert.com. Scientists may have figured out where unwanted thoughts are hiding in the brain. I'm always skeptical of these types of... Yeah, it's, science. Okay, so it says here, worse than a song stuck in your head, negative thoughts that you can't push away can be highly detrimental to your well-being. Sometimes, try as we might to suppress them, some thoughts just keep coming back. Yeah, our old brains there. New research suggests this might be because those unwanted thoughts still exist in another part of the brain.
Ooh.
So, hold on. So if you're not thinking of something, it's not in your brain. Is that okay? Anyway, this finding suggests that trying to suppress repetitive thoughts as a way to give our brains a break and protect our mental well-being might not be the best strategy, supporting what classic studies have first suggested. Quote, these results provide new neural evidence of the pervasiveness of suppressed thoughts and unveil a network of brain areas to be targeted to treat intrusive thought disorders.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, the author of the study said. The study tested this with neutral thought content. The team mapped the brain activity of 15 people as they tried to suppress any thoughts or images of either a red apple or a green broccoli. The challenge was to avoid thinking about the food item for more than 12 seconds after the participants had been prompted to visualize it and not replace it with another image just to keep their mind clear. Okay, after completing the series of tasks, 8 people reported that they had successfully suppressed any thoughts or images of the fruit or veg but their brain scans suggested otherwise. Oh, the brain scan. A technique.
This is like, sorry. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Continue. No.
Okay.
I'll wait till the end.
A technique called functional magnetic resonance imaging. Is that MRI or fMRI?
Yep. fMRI.
Which detects changes in blood flow, had been measuring their brain activity. Then a computer algorithm tuned to detect the difference in pattern of brain activity corresponding to thoughts about either fruit or vegetables was used to analyze the data. Okay. Quote, using this algorithm, we can see what people are imagining when, even when they're not aware of it, said cognitive neuroscientist Roger Koenig Robert from Monash University in Australia. The scan showed that voluntarily thinking about the two ingredients activated the left side of the participant's brain, or brains, plural, and the right side fired up when they tried to suppress such thoughts. Quote, we were able to find visual representations of the thought, even when participants believed they successfully pushed the image out of their minds, said Joel Pearson, a cognitive neuroscientist from the University of New South Wales, Sydney. Quote, the visual cortex, the part of the brain responsible for mental imagery, seemed to be producing thoughts without their awareness, he added. This suggests mental images can form even when they're trying to stop them. Okay, specific visual imagery like representations of their foodie thoughts persisted in the lateral occipital cortex, the part of the brain that recognizes objects. Quote, the results suggest that the content of suppressed thoughts exists hidden from awareness, seemingly without an individual's knowledge, providing a compelling reason why thought suppression is so ineffective, the authors concluded in their paper. But thought suppression means avoiding thinking about one item and not replacing it with another one or distracting yourself. In this case, the researchers couldn't be absolutely sure that their 15 participants weren't distracting themselves with other ideas to avoid thinking of apples and broccoli. Yeah, no kidding. Future studies involving more people will be needed. Likewise, other experiments testing what happens in the brain when people are substituting one thought with another rather than trying to suppress a bothersome thought altogether. Previous research from the same group, published in 2019, suggested that thought substitution is more effective than suppression for thought control. And of course, lying in the brain scanner thinking about fruits and vegetables is a tad bit different to the worries of everyday life or the thought patterns that emerge due to mental health issues. But these findings are a step forward in better understanding our minds and taking comfort in knowing just why controlling unwanted thoughts can be so difficult. And that's the end of the article there. This is, oh my goodness, filled with
so many
problems.
things. So many things. So, first of all, just to summarize it for everybody, they are doing their best to do brain scans to figure out if thoughts go somewhere in your brain when you're trying not to think about them, and the ability to control unwanted thoughts, et cetera, et cetera. Now, just to lean deep into the whole worldview regarding future thought control, thought police, mind control, reading minds, as we've seen some specifically with computers and brain scans and things like that. We have seen some big leaps and bounds happening in China where they can detect, or they say at least, they can detect sort of like anti-government sentiment just by aiming an AI camera at you and reading your bio signals, your heart rate and your stuff like that, because they're trying to catch thought dissenters. I mean, obviously this screams of an Orwellian nightmare, but it's not that crazy because it has become even just on a societal level, take the technology out of it, we're really in a place, where it used to be you could have a different thought about something from somebody else, maybe your friend, and you could still be friends. But it's come to the point in society where having the wrong thought about something automatically makes you evil, and you can't be you can't be trusted even by your friends or family.
Right.
And this can go either way, you know, if we're going to put it in the left-right paradigm. That's the sad thing, is the society as a whole has sort of been trained to detect unsavory thoughts in one another, which will put our friend or family in the category of a liberal or a conservative, and we know to stay away from them or whatever.
Yeah.
But moving into the Orwellian nightmare of contact tracing and brain chips and things like that, being able to detect let's even just say a thought that goes against, a political paradigm for the process of control, or for the goal of controlling a population. This is pretty disturbing. Just the fact that the science is out there, that they're trying to detect wrong thoughts and how impossible it is to hide from your wrong thoughts.
Yeah, and I would question the methodology involved here, because a lot of what people need to understand too is a lot of science is not science, it's philosophy.
Right. Well, let's keep in mind that this entire article could be complete bull hockey.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's sciencealert.com, so
so it's true.
It's got to be true.
Science is truth.
Science is truth.
Science is truth.
But the fact that they have some MRI, okay, they have some scans of your brain and some blood flow in the brain, and they're extracting what you're thinking about from just that data, and some algorithms that's telling you, they must be still thinking about broccoli. But there is no way that just a brain scan can actually come up with a clear understanding of what each individual is actually thinking. I mean, I use the word primitive in a sense, but it is. It's like there's no way. I mean, there are certain types of technologies that's out there to start creating or translating certain brain functions or brain mechanisms into actual, like an actual visual representation in the real world to somebody else. They've had brain or dream translators and stuff like that they've tested on animals and stuff. But for this experiment, I don't think they're not necessarily doing that. And they're not extracting hidden thoughts or thoughts that you're distracting yourself away from, and like knowing for sure that they're thinking of a red apple or a broccoli or something like that. So I don't know. I question the whole thing, especially when all it is an algorithm. Using this algorithm, we can see that people are imagining, even when they're not aware of it. Well, yeah, isn't the brain always imagining or doing something when you're not aware of it?
That's nothing new. That's the subconscious or whatever you want to call it. Now, even the concept of the subconscious was created by Freud, who has a lot of questionable characteristics for sure. But, that is not a surprise that your brain can be thinking things without you consciously trying to. But it's interesting how they're already sort of normalizing the vocabulary of thought suppression and things like that, because, again, there are some very interesting technological devices that are currently being experimented on. I mean, even take Neuralink with Elon Musk. If they're able to quote unquote detect an unwanted thought in a brain, just for the context of this article, let's say they have found out something similar to what they're claiming. If they are able to detect a lurking unwanted thought in your brain, what does that mean? I mean, what action do they take? What is the whole, what's even the point? Because, like I said, the concept of a subconscious or your brain working without you knowing it is a really old idea. I guess other than trying to create a scientific model where they can detect people having bad thoughts and showing that in some sort of scientific way, what is the point other than control of the population? I mean, like actual mind control.
Yeah. I'm just reminded of Romans 8, where it talks about those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, and those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. We really, like, anytime materialistic approaches the materialism has really run into a wall here with a lot of the mind stuff and the brain, and because they can only extract and think about it too, it's other brains, it's extracting meaning from information from other brains. And so there's really, I don't know, there's a limit here to what people can do. And I'm not saying that they're going to be able to not figure out how to upload your consciousness into a machine or whatever, but there's always that question of when they're able to do that, when they're able to control all that, at what point do you lose yourself? Whether you're trying to upload yourself into a machine or you let a machine into your brain, it's a two-way street. At what point do you lose? At what point are you dead? And, your brain is just functioning as a machine with the machine, and at what point are you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a side conversation that we've certainly had before. Yeah. I think this is more connected to like Minority Report thought crime type of stuff, you know, and especially if, let's just imagine a world where Elon Musk actually gets Neuralink going and it becomes commercially viable. And, even a decade further on down the line, you get a tax credit for having your Neuralink in, and, big data is all hooked up to it as well. But then, with its brain scanning, it's more than anything, Neuralink right now is a brain scanner. It's an cranial brain scanner. Right. And being able to detect, maybe if not being able to read the thought and see what the unwanted thought is, if they've identified the place in your brain where unwanted thoughts go. What did they call it again? Thought suppression. The sort of thought suppressed vault in your brain. Even if they can't read the image of what it is, if they do a little scan and they see that your thought suppression vault is full or active, then they know you're thinking that something you shouldn't be thinking of. And then, of course, the pre-crime unit busts in your door, and then there you go. Your one-way ticket to the FEMA camp, baby.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but haven't they shown that the brain? Yes, there are certain parts of the brain that functions in certain ways, but like for example, memory isn't stored in like one spot in the brain. It's like a whole network that gets
that's more complicated than we think.
Yeah, so I understand what they're trying to do with like certain parts of the brain and extracting information or extracting meaning from what they're getting from the machine scanning the brain. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think to what you're saying, it may not even be accurate. They don't have to have an accurate, like one-to-one true understanding of how or what people are thinking. If certain parts of the brain lights up, then it's illegal. It's wrong. You're wrong.
The thought suppression vault. You're hiding something. You've got something to hide. And it goes into the big data privacy conversation too, which is like, well, if you have nothing to hide, then why would you care if we look at your brain? The same thing with Neuralink. Yeah, get Neuralink. Of course, we can read your mind, but if you have nothing to hide,
well, I think the reason why I was bringing up the scriptures and set your mind to the things of the Spirit and things of that nature is because who becomes the moral authority there?
Ain't that just the problem?
That is the key here. When man tries to govern man, somebody's playing God.
Yeah.
So I think that's the bigger picture here because if you think about it, God knows all our thoughts, all our everything hidden, exposed, everything. He knows it all. So it's like, all right, we really can't hide from God. But when man tries to play God, now we're talking about everything biblical, like all the things biblical.
Totally. And Isaiah 42:14 mentions in the chat, take every thought captive.
Yep,
I mean,
there you
that's
go.
even a biblical principle there.
Yep,
So
there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, I think this is still kind of in the realm of pseudoscience, but, it's also in the realm of where big, huge tech industries are going. I think this will be, if not useful data, it'll be a sort of seminal report that will be, again, baby steps to the new world order.
I think I know what they were trying to do.
Blowing minds and stopping crimes.
All right, I got one here for you, Gons.
Aliens.
That's right. Whatever happened to the long version of that?
I like the UFO one.
Yeah. Oh, that's specifically for UFO.
Yeah, it's a little different. But, yeah.
I do like it though.
Well,
do you have it ready?
I don't, but
okay.
But technically, this story is a little more.
Space. Wanna go to space?
There we go. Okay, we're coming from news.com.au, and this article is titled "NASA Recruits Alien Hunters to Find Signs of Life in Outer Space." That's right, kids. I've made many a career calls for quality career suggestions, and so far I think I'm batting 1,000. But if there's any kids out there still trying to figure out their career path, here you go. NASA recruits alien hunters to find signs of life in outer space. U.S. Space Agency NASA is recruiting alien hunters to find signs of life in images taken from planets and other solar systems in outer space. Seeking volunteers. Oh, volunteers. Come on.
Cheap.
Sorry, kids.
Never a straight answer.
Here.
Hey, is there money? Is there money involved? Never a straight answer. Can we get some benefits? Never a straight answer. Okay, sorry.
Seeking volunteers from across the world, NASA has launched a citizen science project called Planet Patrol to detect new planets from millions of images collected by its computer system. Since the 1990s, scientists have discovered more than 4,200 exoplanets, 420, bro, which are worlds that orbit stars other than the Earth's sun. NASA wants to take advantage of interested people's time to examine the different extraterrestrial environments, some of which may host life. You have a comment? You have a silly comment there, Gonzo?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. It is inviting volunteers to join the hunt for new exoplanets by examining images snapped by the transitioning exoplanet survey satellite TESS, which has been orbiting the Earth since 2018. Planet Patrol will come.
I don't know.
I can't not say it that way.
Space Force and Planet Patrol. It's just, my gosh.
Planet Patrol sounds like a kid's show.
Paw Patrol.
Planet Patrol will become a, quote, community pursuing the common goal of understanding the universe and our place in it, NASA said. It launched Planet Patrol on Zooniverse, earlier this week, and has already recruited more than 1,600 participants who have collectively delivered 100,000 individual classifications. The program enables anyone with an internet connection to spot and classify likely exoplanets and images taken by TESS. Quote, citizen science projects are a great way to engage our built-in, never-ending curiosity about the world we live in, be it our own planet or a planet hundreds of light years away, NASA research scientist Veselin Kostov said. There we go. He said the project launch was particularly welcome for people isolating during the COVID-19 pandemic. TESS is designed to spot exoplanets as they pass in front of stars they orbit, dimming the star's brightness. Once the exoplanet's existence has been confirmed, scientists can then start to determine the planet's basic properties and whether any type of life, including extraterrestrial intelligence, could find it habitable. The hundreds of thousands of pictures TESS takes each year are analyzed by automated software, but computers may accidentally detect an exoplanet when all the image shows is a dimming of light caused by a binary system containing two rather than one star, with one eclipsing the other. Okay. Quote, the most common imposters are eclipsing binary stars, Kostov said. Other false positives were caused by instruments or astrophysical noise distorting the TESS images. Kostov said the human eye was much more reliable than automated processing. Quote, the human eye is very good at quickly and reliably spotting such image distortions, he said. Via the program on Zooniverse, Planet Patrol, participants are guided through a process of evaluating the quality of test images. Lost my spot. They then must distinguish between potential false positives and bona fide planet candidates. Bona fide planet candidates. Quote, it's an extremely rewarding and enjoyable experience for us and hopefully for them as well, said Kostov. Yeah, getting 1,600 people to donate their time instead of paying people. Of course, that's pleasurable.
This is fantastic.
This is enjoyable experience for me.
Welcome to my people's zoo.
Quote, my hope is that the project sparks a continuous interest in exoplanets in particular and in astrophysics in general. Another project NASA is undertaking is to detect whether alien life really exists on these planets. Its researchers have turned to looking for the shadows of one of Earth's most common multicellular life form, trees. Whoa, they're looking for shadows of trees. Professor Chris Doty, lead author of the landmark new study, said in a statement, quote, Earth has more than 3 trillion trees, and each cast shadows differently than inanimate objects. Oh, he's calling trees not inanimate objects. That's fun. Quote, if you go outside at noon, almost all shadows will be from human objects or plants, and there will be very few shadows at this time of day when there wasn't multicellular life. The research suggests abundant, upright, photosynthetic, multicellular life. Whoa. The researchers suggest abundant, upright, photosynthetic, multicellular life, otherwise known as trees. Such as trees will cast shadows at high sun angles. This, the researchers believe, will probably distinguish them from singular cellular life. As a result, space telescopes will observe the types of shadows cast, which should theoretically determine whether there are similar life forms on exoplanets. Wow, so these alien hunters are really just looking for trees on exoplanets.
Imagine like the enthusiast, like, oh, I'm going to work for NASA. And, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to look for aliens. And then they're like, hey, look, what we're looking for here are trees.
No, you're looking for abundant, upright, photosynthetic, multicellular life. What? Trees. That's fun. Well, that's certainly one way to keep a certain amount of the population entertained while you force them to stay quarantined.
Yeah, my biggest thing from this article was the part here that talks about how computers may accidentally detect an exoplanet. Mm-hmm. So, I guess, how do you, I don't know. I haven't looked at the thing, so I don't know, but if there are false positives, and this is all still a computer, all computers, all computers.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying everything is computers, like all the space stuff. All the alleged things out there. It's not.
What are you talking about, old man?
You're not directly looking at it.
Alien trees.
Don't diss me on the Planet Patrol.
Planet Patrol.
I will lead the Planet Patrol in this Zooniverse.
I might have to join Planet Patrol and start looking for. I can't even remember what it was called. Upright photosynthetic life forms.
I'm just waiting for Space Force to run into some Planet Patrol people, and it's just a whole new civil war, folks.
There's a rival. Yeah. A rivalry begins between Space Force and Planet Patrol.
What are you guys doing out here? We're just looking for trees.
We're looking for trees. What do you mean?
Okay.
Oh, man. All right. So there you go. Just a fun one.
All right. One more.
If you're wondering what NASA's up to, it's begging volunteers to find trees on other planets.
What happened to all of our tax money going to NASA? What is this? What they're doing?
It all went to the $23 million toilet, Gons.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They ran out of money because they're spending it on slight variations on a new toilet.
Shoot, we diverted all of our alien tree finding budget to the toilet project.
Oh my gosh. Okay, one more here.
Nephilim update.
Aliens.
All right, this article is fun. I made the video on this earlier. MindMatters.ai. Researchers, the aliens exist, but they are sleeping. They're sleeping.
Well, that makes sense.
Shh, quiet, they're sleeping. Recently, science and science fiction writer Matt Williams has been writing a series at Universe Today on why extraterrestrial intelligences that many believe must exist in our universe never show up, except maybe trees. Last week, we looked at the hypothesis that the aliens' advanced technology ended up destroying them all. The machines may be coming for us because destroying is all they know how to do. Super creepy. This week, let's look at a quite different idea that Williams outlines in Beyond Fermi's Paradox 5. What is the astivation hypothesis? August 7, 2020. Astivation is the summer version of hibernation in winter.
Real quick, what is up with this picture at the top of the article of a dragon?
Yeah, he's sleeping, bro. He's a sleeping alien. Come on.
Well, his eyes are open. He's not sleeping that well.
Well, he's trying to sleep.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Astivation is the summer version of hibernation in winter. The aliens in this scenario are not dead. They're merely sleeping. Just as many life forms on Earth go into torpor during hot and dry conditions, they are awaiting cooler conditions before they emerge. Why might the ETs need cooler conditions? Many ET theorists posit 3 types of civilizations on a Kardashev scale, depending on their state of development. The scale was originally developed in a 1964 essay by Russian astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev. Type 1 civilizations can harness the energy of a planet, Type 2 a star system, and Type 3 a galaxy. The structures they could build and we could detect would depend on the energy they can harness. Galaxy redevelopment would generate a lot of heat, maybe too much. In a 2017 study, quote, that is not dead which can eternal lie. The Astivian hypothesis for resolving Fermi's paradox. Physicists associated with Oxford's Future of Humanity Institute, where Nick Bostrom is the director. Nick Bostrom is the transhumanist guy. Suggested that the ETs may have decided to wait until the universe cools down before doing any more calculations. Thus, they are astivating. Quote, if a civilization wants to maximize computation, it appears rational. It appears rational, Basil. Sorry. It appears rational to astivate until the far future in order to exploit the low temperature environment. This can produce a 10 to the 30 multiplier of achievable computation. We hence suggest that the astivation hypothesis, the reason we are not observing manifestations of alien civilizations, is that they are currently mostly inactive, patiently waiting for future cosmic eras. This paper analyzes the assumptions going into the hypothesis that and how physical law and observational evidence constrain the motivations of aliens compatible with the hypothesis. And that was Anders Sandberg, another transhumanist, and let's see, what is it? Stuart Armstrong and Milan Srkovic. Okay, yeah, and it goes on here. This is the part that I found interesting. One suggested reason that the ETs might adopt such a strategy is that they have become digital beings anyway.
Whoa.
Their aliens have already become digital beings.
Whoa.
Quote, indeed, an increasing number of futurists, astrobiologists, and SETI experts are starting to think that advanced intelligence eventually transitions into a digital mode of existence. Living as digital beings within powerful supercomputers, post-biological aliens, or future post-humans, will demand unhindered access to powerful and efficient means of information processing, a hypothetical model of existence known as dataism.
Yeah.
Dataism.
So they're saying all the aliens have already uploaded their consciousness and are sleeping in computers?
In computers that are lying dormant right now. They're waiting for the universe to cool down so they can fire them back up again.
Oh, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. How would we know if any of this is true? Two of the authors of the paper explain. Quote, can we test it? Yes. The obvious
Yes, of course this isn't all nonsense.
The obvious way is to carefully look at odd processes keeping the universe from losing potentially useful raw materials. The suggestions in the paper give some ideas, but there are doubtless other things to look for. Also, astivators would protect themselves from late evolving species that could steal their stuff. If we were to start building self-replicating von Neumann probes in the future, if there are astivations around, they better stop us. This hypothesis test may, of course, be rather dangerous. Okay, Anders Sandberg. And the dangerous part, Sandberg told Gizmodo, quote, another way to potentially detect these sleeping civilizations would be to mess with their stuff, but that could be very dangerous.
Wow.
If they're not around, if they can't find anything, what stuff are you going to mess with? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
We could try to set off some process
Poke
that
the
would
bear.
really upset the astivators, like launching a lot of self-replicating probes to pave the pave the reachable universe with our infrastructure, said Sandberg. If the astivators are halfway competent, their robot guardians will show up to stop that, which might make this a very risky way of testing the hypothesis. In short, we'd better not wake them up. By way of explanation in their paper, Armstrong et al., quote, a famous horror writer, quote, the old ones were, the old ones are, and the old ones shall be. Not in the spaces we know, but between them. They walk serene and primal, undimensioned, and to us, unseen. That's H.P. Lovecraft, the Dunwich Horror and others, which I mentioned in the video earlier, how the D-Wave, one of the former CEOs of D-Wave Quantum Computing, Gordy Rose, was on stage a few years ago talking about how the quantum computers are summoning entities. And he mentioned how they're like the old ones of H.P. Lovecraft. So the idea is very much in play, and people are running with it, apparently. One physics team, more prosaic, disputes the whole notion.
No way.
They say that the astivationists misunderstand the astrophysics principle involved in massing computing. Quote, computer-generated entropy can only be disposed of by transferring it to the cosmological background. In fact, while this assumption may apply in the distant future, our universe today contains vast reservoirs and other physical systems in non-maximal entropy states, and computer-generated entropy can be transferred to them at the adiabatic conversion rate of 1 bit of negentropy to erase 1 bit of error. This can be done at any time and is not improved by waiting for low cosmic background temperature. Well, that's only speculation.
Yeah.
I'm buying the sleeping alien idea.
Sounds like Nephilim to me, man.
I mean, the thing that I did in my video is I mentioned how, and the Bible actually speaks of a couple things. And I'm not saying that these two are a match, but 2 Peter 2:4 says, "For God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell, where they committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until judgment." So you have these rebel watchers basically that are held in chains of gloomy darkness. And the parallel passage, Jude 1:6, basically says the same thing. The angels that did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling, he is kept in eternal chains under gloomy darkness until the judgment of the great day. So this idea that there are these watchers that are currently being held, in some darkness until judgment, right? Or there's a parallel there with this idea that these crazy scientists are saying, well, maybe the aliens are sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, and they talk about them sleeping in a computer, much like we've talked about uploading human consciousness, and we've compared that to the passages referring to, men will beg for death but won't be able to die.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck in the thing. So if you're talking about watchers who are chained up, in the stars, there's a comparison there.
I think there's something there, and
there's
not to say,
there, yeah,
and not to say, and I quoted Jastrow, which basically he has that quote about how scientists have been using logic and reason to climb the mountain of knowledge, and when they get to the top, there's a band of theologians that's been sitting there for a long time. Right. That whole idea is pretty applicable here because, again, as wild as this type of theory sounds, they're just the materialist and the scientist types. They're just so desperate for aliens to exist. Number one, and number two, for this like digital immortality to be like a tangible thing.
Yeah, that they're willing. It all into one nice
they just kind of
package.
They're able to mix it all up into one giant thesis, and it just seems to allude to certain biblical things that are eschatological in nature.
Totally.
And not saying that it is. I'm just saying that it seems to align that maybe what they're tapping into from their materialist view is more so what God told us in the Bible about, watchers being chained.
It just sounds like a science fiction rewriting of like the Book of Enoch.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just certain passages from Scripture talking about, I think Revelation 9 and Revelation 16 both talk about, or at least 9 talks about the angels under Euphrates, the river Euphrates.
Right,
that are going to be released to kill a third of mankind and stuff. So the idea is there that there are these angels or these watchers that are being held until judgment. And so when these guys are like, oh, we don't want to wake them up, maybe they're right. They're kind of right. It's like, when they wake up, it's probably not a good deal, especially if you're not covered under the blood of Jesus. It might be real bad news for you. So
right. Well, there we go. That's a very exciting Nephilim update there, Gons.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yep. And let me wrap it up with the jingle.
Nephilim update.
Well, there we go. Thank you so much, everybody. We did a show, Gons. We did it.
We did it. Yep.
We absolutely did it. And so did all of you. You did it as well. I want to thank all of our new producers for this show, episode 251, producer Ciara, producer Andrea, producer Jack, producer Bush Protector, producer Isaac, producer Tracy, and, of course, the new member of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Sir Old to Box, Knight of the Watchman, 7th Knight of the Canary Cry Roundtable. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to our jingle man, Mr. Magoo. We appreciate that. And to our artists, producer Jay Vella, Ali, and Lekekt. Thank you guys so much. And another big thank you to That Night Wind for taking the timestamps for the YouTube upload later on. So those people who want to jump around and go directly to different topics can do that without listening to all the nonsense. So we appreciate all of our producers, everybody who makes this show work, and not just the show, but this orbiting projects, the newest of which is the Merch Perch, Canary Cry Merch Perch. Show them some love over there. 30%, soon to be 33% of the offerings there will go to helping the show, and some will go to paying for everything, and then some will go to, thanking producer Aaron for doing the work, making it happen. So we thank you very much, producer Aaron. Okay, now remember, we will be back with another show, which will be on Wednesday, October 7th.
Yeah.
Yes, Wednesday, October 7th, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure to follow us, turn on notifications, set your alarms, folks, because we'll be back with a whole nother show on Wednesday. We thank you so much for tuning in. All you regular listeners, we see you. We thank you. We appreciate you being here. And remember just to follow or subscribe to the podcast version, because, we do three shows a week, and maybe you can't make it to all of them, but make sure to listen to the show after the live stream, and that'll be posted on the podcast. Just search Canary Cry News Talk in your podcast player, and you will find us. Subscribe, and make sure not to miss a thing. Okay, if you want to become a producer for next show on Wednesday, the 7th, you can help produce episode 252. That's an interesting number there. You can become a producer by going to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. Or if you don't like Patreon, you can head over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right.
A little early on the button there.
That's okay. We're a fine-tuned machine around here. But yes, head over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Remember, we're still taking Trump tax donations. You can get the Trump tax producership for helping us out with the amount of $7.50, $75, or if you're Daddy Warbucks, $750. We'll get you an executive producership. Let's see here. Also, the 33 keeps rolling. So all sorts of ways to do it. Or if you're a crypto person, you can help us out with cryptocurrency over there as well. That's another fun way to help out the show. Now, here's the thing. There's other ways to become a producer that aren't just financial. Your time, your talent, and your treasure. We have very talented producers helping us out with art. If you're a creative person and you want to create a piece of art that is related to the show, or jingles, if you foresee us needing another jingle for a topic, go ahead and send all that to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com, and you'll make it on next show. So thank you very much to all of our creative folks out there. I do want to plug one more time, CanaryCry.community. It's our anti-Facebook social media platform, and it's got all sorts of Canary Cry folk. Good folks, man. Make some friends, chat theories, follow current events, play games, fellowship, pray for each other. I do want to mention again, we had some people asking. We do have the Canary Cry producers, who is the Canary Cry prayer squadron. And if you want to send in a prayer request or get involved with that prayer team, you can email canaryprayer@gmail.com. That's canaryprayer@gmail.com. Make sure to check in with them. If you got a request, if you got something going on in your life, or you want to join the team, just email canaryprayer@gmail.com. Great way to get involved.
Hallelujah.
That's right. Now, remember, there's other ways to help the show. This Friday, I'm going to be reading ratings and reviews. So if you haven't done it, leave a rating and a review. Just use whatever search engine you prefer, and search for Apple Podcasts, Canary Cry News Talk. Apple Podcast, Canary Cry News Talk. Leave a rating and a review. Look it up. I'll be reading those this Friday. Always my favorite time of the week. So please do that. Not only do Gonz and I read them all, but it also helps the algorithms that are continuously scouring the internet. It helps those algorithms share the show with people who have not heard of it, and that's very helpful. And last but not least, if you want to help out the show and help out your fellow human beings searching for the truth, just share an episode. Send them an episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Y'all got friends, y'all got family who are waking up and realizing that the world is not what it seems. And one of the best ways to help them is to send them an episode that they might like. We'll be happy to help guide them down the narrow path of truth. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah, folks. Okay, remember, we'll be back, and you should be back on Wednesday the 7th, right here, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We can't wait to see you then. And anything else? Any last words, Gons?
Hashtag Trump is a national disgrace trending on Twitter as we speak.
Oh, no. Did we get any news about him coming out of the hospital?
Yeah, I think it looks like he came out.
He
or something.
did.
And
He
there's a
came
lot
out.
of,
Okay.
he's irresponsible. He's like North Korean dictators.
Classic move.
CNN, Trump returns to White House, takes off mask despite having virus.
Oh, what an evil man.
He's such a horrible person.
All right. Follow me on Twitter, everybody. Basil_Rosewater. That's it. Make sure to tune in next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Look it up.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
And melt those babies into candles.
You're going down, Olstein.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I wanna shake things up, shake things up. I wanna shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone.
I wanna stir up some controversy. I wanna rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
There's nothing to watch on my color TV. None of this news is what I want to see. I try tuning in to my radio. None of this talk is really quite the show for me. Finding good news is really quite the pain. Gotta find something I ain't got all day. Get on my YouTube, debates like the sun. See what's new, demonetization. Know what's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? News Talk News Talk. News Talk News Talk
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. keep the cameras on.